We're recording. Are you ready?
Ready as I'm ever going to be. Let's go.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Forward Path, the podcast that endeavors to be an encouragement to Christians, skeptics, and those considering a life in Christ. I'm your host, Patrick, and with me, Shaun, another one of our hosts. See, they're still around. Just like I told you guys, we're going to be doing this until we get all the equipment we need. But you didn't come here to hear me talk about what we're going to do. You came to hear another wonderful episode, and in this one, our friend Shaun is going to talk to us about cryptocurrency. We all have dreams of our futures.
Right.
And if you're anything like me, those dreams are over the years, those dreams over the years have become concerns about your future. Will I be prepared in my old age? Will I have no choice but to keep working? I don't know. While we can put our trust in God, there is still some action required on our part.
Facts.
And so, Shaun, you're going to talk to us about preparing for the future, right?
Absolutely.
And you're going to talk to us about preparing for our future via cryptocurrency.
Yes, that's one of my favorite subjects.
I see. I've been watching your shorts, and I'm going to ask you about one of them later on in the episode too. But before we get into that, let me ask you, what got you to land on cryptocurrency?
Back in 2017, I think I was reading an article about a guy who actually had invested, a little more than $1,200, like right around $1,200, $1,000 or something like that in a particular digital asset. And that asset went from 0.004, so less than a half a cent, to $3.78, $3. So that $1,000 turned into over $1 million. And I was really interested in the ability to make $1,000 investment to have you Lambo shopping in a matter of months. Like, I thought that was just the most interesting thing in the world, and I didn't know if it was real. So I checked into it and I realized, this really happened. That asset was XRP, and I've been learning about the digital asset space ever since, consistently, because the interest never went away. Like, I geeked out on that for years and invested, and I saw that it was working. Like, I continued to pour money into it, and I did pretty good in a lot of different things. Learning about the blockchain, though, came first.
Why? Well, let me ask this question real quick. XRP, is that a type of cryptocurrency?
That is. Okay. That is. That particular brand of digital asset has been in the top 10 since pretty much its inception.
Really?
And the company that uses it for cross-border remittances. So they settle large sums of money, like from bank to bank or whatever like that, from country to country. Mm-hmm. So this is the actual use case. Now, that is a big part of why I invested in this, because it has one.
It has a use case.
A use case.
Okay. That use case being the money from entity to entity.
Cross-border remittances, cross-border payments. So as it stands right now, like if you were to send $10,000 to Thailand to transfer it into $10,000 worth of Thai baht, your best bet would be to jump on a plane and fly to Thailand and go and convert the money yourself. The system that's currently set up to do that is called SWIFT.
You say your best bet. I mean, that sounds counterproductive to. We're getting a little into the weeds, but that sounds counterproductive to the cryptocurrency.
It actually is. That's why they actually exist. Okay. Ripple uses the cryptocurrency to actually.
At one point, your best bet was to fly.
Right.
Fly to Thailand.
Right. Exactly. Sorry if I didn't say that. So, yeah, but XRP settles for pennies in less than 4 seconds. So it's the best way now to move large sums of money. Like they're moving $75 million for like $2.50 in less than 4 seconds anywhere in the world.
That is fast.
Right. So it's very interesting, the technology. And the use case is solid, but the ROI hasn't been the best.
Okay.
And that
return on investment.
The return on investment hasn't been the best because the company Ripple, who's using XRP to do that, was sued by the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, for selling unregistered securities. They were calling XRP unregistered security.
Right.
Ripple just basically won that lawsuit. So
they're back in business, or
they never. As a matter of fact, during the lawsuit for the last 2.5 years, they were growing.
Oh,
the whole time. They just weren't growing in the United States. So not only are they back in business, they're back in business here. XRP is relisted on all exchanges here. And what happened is it is now actually the only digital asset with full regulatory clarity from the SEC.
Okay. All right.
So that makes me imagine that BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, all these big, huge trust funds and hedge funds are just going to pour tons of money into this and increase the volume because they can now.
Okay. Now, let me, because this is not about XRP, of course. This is more about how a Christian can utilize cryptocurrency or investing in cryptocurrency to lay up for the future, lay up for their children. But before we get into that, I thought it was really interesting that you got into the blockchain aspect of it before the investment portion of it.
Yeah, I wanted to know what it was all about. Like, what is the good question? Like, what are we dealing with? Like, the blockchain, I define it simply as just a huge receipt. It's just a big ticker tape. It records all of the blockchain's technology, all of the sales, trades, and buys of the actual cryptocurrency, the digital asset. Everything that happens on that blockchain is recorded by the blockchain.
Right.
So
and encrypted.
Right. So
and encrypted. I think its first conception, not its first conception, but one of the reasons it was implemented was for the sake of encryption, to protect it from prying eyes on the internet, from intrusion.
Well, the main reason why I like blockchain technology is because it's decentralized. So not only is it not controlled by one central entity, if you want to look at it, you can see it. All the buys, trades, sales, all that stuff is available for you to see.
But you cannot alter it.
No,
that's
you
where
cannot.
The encryption portion of it comes in.
So,
and you're right, because that's why the whole crypto mining became so popular, because it's not centralized. Right.
So some blockchains are proof of work, and that requires the miners to do complex math problems to validate the blocks.
Right.
The blocks contain all the information, buy, sells, trades, whatever is going on the blockchain. You can store other data on there as well. But the block is like, let's say, a unit of time, right? So like 10 seconds is a block or 1 second is a block. All the buys, trades, and sales that happen within that time are stored in that block, right? So, and then that cannot be changed. But the decentralization aspect comes from how these blocks are validated. So there are validator nodes that have a ownership, right? So who you, with a validator node, you basically own a portion of the validation on the blockchain.
Yeah.
So
you're one of the blocks.
Right. We basically confirm all the transactions that happen. Like, yeah, this happened at this time. I confirm that. Boom. And then with the validator node, you're rewarded in that currency for actually doing that work on the blockchain. So Yeah, I love the decentralization about it. It's my favorite thing. Like the fact that it's not a central entity, because I don't know about you, but I've experienced with banks, right? It's a centralized authority. They control all the information, the data on their computers. It's one person looking at it saying, yeah, now I see my bill's about to come out. So I go to the bank, use my ATM card, put in my money, the Federal Reserve notes into the ATM to make sure that the bill coming out will clear. And then the bill comes out. But I go to the bank the next day and they tell me, oh yeah, no, your payment went out first and then you came to the ATM and yeah, so you were overdrawn and we're going to charge you $35 for that. But we paid your light bill and the courtesy fee for that is $27. So that central authority is the bane of my existence. I don't like it. I don't like that the decentralization of blockchain technology is the best thing since sliced bread to me. So investments.
So let me ask you this: what brought about CryptoVisor? And tell everybody who CryptoVisor is.
Hi, I'm your friendly neighborhood CryptoVisor. That's me. That's me. What brought about it? I wanted to make a YouTube channel. I was wearing a visor, and I was like, you know what? I'm not your crypto advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But I am your friendly neighborhood CryptoVisor. You know, your brother, cousin, uncle, son, nephew, father, friend, the one that's always back at it, talking about the intangible assets.
And how often did you have to practice that whole spiel before you were able to just rattle it off like you just did? Because every YouTube short that I see, you just rattle it off in the exact same manner.
I think the first time I said it, it sounded just like it does now. Like I just said it and never forgot it. That was great. I was like, ooh, wow. I like that.
I've impressed myself. Check
like
me
that.
out.
What did I say? Brother, cousin, uncle, son, nephew, father, friend. Okay, yeah. Did I leave anything out? No, that's it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I would not, it wouldn't matter how impressed I was with myself. I couldn't just say that, oh, I've got it from here on out for the rest of my life.
I was like, okay, that's it. Say it again. I'm your brother, cousin, uncle, son, nephew, father, friend, the one who always talks about the intangible coin talk. Back at it. Once again, CryptoVisor is in the house. All right.
Okay, so now we're at the part of the episode where I hand you the freedom and you start talking about cryptocurrency, the investments, how you tie that in with your Christian beliefs if you do.
Of course I do.
Different things like that. Go ahead.
Of course I do. Okay, so the main reason why I wanted to share it with everybody else was reading about the talents, right? And a lot of people, I think, they don't invest because they don't know enough about it, right? I don't know if the guy that got the one talent just buried it because he didn't know to go to the money changers, but he was told that when his master got back to the house, like, you should have did this, right? So that was the story for us too.
He was afraid.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so what causes that fear? Not knowing.
The unknown. Yeah.
Probably.
Absolutely.
So that's what I took responsibility of, is to share the information that I have with my aunts, uncles, grandparents. Like, this is made so your mama can understand it and do which you can invest, because I think that return on investment it's so asymmetrical, like it's asymmetrical. Like you can invest $100 and turn it into $10,000. Where else can you get returns like that? Sure, you could lose it all, but that's what the asymmetrical is. You can get 1,000% versus you can only lose 100%. Yeah, and I don't know what else you can do that with. Like, I've tried, before I started messing with blockchain technology, I tried stocks and I did okay, but the gains from blockchain technology was way better. And that's another area that I went to studying is the blockchain capabilities, right? So you have the currency, and sure, that's what I do. I buy and I hold. A lot of people can trade. You can do that too. If you know about trading, it's a fantastic vehicle to do that because it's so volatile. But me, I just buy and hold projects that I like.
Yeah.
I'll study. I'll read. You know what I mean? I'll find out about these companies and what they're doing. Why are you using this blockchain? How is this different from anything else? Because there's over 50,000 types of cryptocurrency, and I'm going to tell you right now,
there are a lot.
Most of them are trash. Most of them are useless, redundant. They don't serve a purpose. Like they're just basically a solution looking for a problem. It's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense. So looking at it, I can decipher that, and I just want to share that information with my family.
Before you go on, let me ask, what is it about most of them that makes them trash? What is it that you've seen in them that you're like, no, this is not worth it?
Well, like I said, a lot of times they're just an answer trying to find a problem.
I see.
You don't solve anything. You're not really doing.
So they have potential, but no application.
Exactly.
Okay, I got it.
Most
like
most
XRP has an application.
Right. No use case. Nothing really that differentiates them from anything else. Like, okay, cool. You're new. It's great, but you do what this other thing does. That came before you. Like, I don't know why we would just not use that. So that's it. And it's so much now. Like, it's saturated. So
it is.
So I don't know if anybody has time to look at 50,000 different, cryptocurrencies and determine and decipher, like, what is good, what is bad. Is this actually solving a problem? Cause there's a lot of stuff. Like, does it have liquidity?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be able to, like, if I put $100 in this and then it goes up, at 1 penny and then it goes up to $10, am I going to be able to get that $100 million out? Probably not. Right. So,
right. Okay.
So, there's a lot of different things that you got to look at. And I've come to the conclusion that I've actually made a checklist for DeFi projects on how you can mitigate the risk.
Okay.
You can't eliminate it because it's just like any other investment. There's always going to be risk, but high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. If you want to be consistency, if you want the consistency, just take a few % every day. That's fine. If you have a higher risk tolerance, like myself, then you investigate these other things that are able to do financial backflips. Like, I don't know. I just investigate and I look. But the main thing is you got to know your risk tolerance.
Okay.
I lost so much money, like that I was not prepared to lose.
You're talking about knowing your limit, right? Your risk tolerance, how much you're willing to lose.
In DeFi, like, DeFi is decentralized finance.
Okay.
And that goes back to what I was talking about, what these blockchains can actually do, right?
Right.
Some of them support decentralized finance, where developers can come on the blockchain and the coin runs the chain, but they can make DeFi protocols that are smart contracts that are self-executing, to where you can lend, borrow, and basically do what the bank is doing and just cut out the middleman. So I was in a bunch of those. I won, then I lost, and I was like, oof. And then there was one that I got in too late. I was like, oh, this is great. It's only been running 30 days. Got wrecked. Right? And then there was, any way that you can lose in cryptocurrency, I've done it. I've been exit scammed. I've been rug pulled. I blinked and wasn't paying attention and lost money.
Now, with exit scammed and rug pulled, is that something else we can? I understand rug pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Exit scammed is different. Is that something we can look forward to in a future YouTube short or a future YouTube video?
Yeah,
Maybe
possibly.
not in this episode because we're trying
Possibly.
to keep it at, yeah?
Possibly. I mean, it's just, I will talk about how to avoid it.
Mhm.
Like that's easy. Like you just, for the most part, knowing the team, right?
Yeah.
Like these developers, they're dealing in basically what's called the wild, wild west of the DeFi space. Like decentralized finance is so new and unregulated that if people want to be nefarious, they can just jack a whole
Absolutely.
bunch of people's money and get away with it.
Absolutely.
Like especially if they're anonymous. So if you look for teams that have been fully doxxed, contracts that have been audited, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to mitigate your risk.
Doxed meaning all of their information is out there.
Yes.
Okay. So you
Yes.
want to know
Yeah.
everything about them.
Oh yeah, if you don't know anything about them, they're going to steal from you. I found that out the hard way. $1,200, $1,800 here, you know.
Right.
But
So here's what I'm hearing so far. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
I am hearing from you what you're thinking about looking for whatever. You're thinking about like use case scenarios, practical applications of the cryptocurrency.
absolutely.
You're looking at decentralized
Yes.
blockchains and cryptocurrency because even though you know that being decentralized increases your chances of getting taken advantage of, it's still better than it being controlled by an entity that's going to maybe take advantage of you another way.
Well, I think decentralization is the whole point of cryptocurrency. There are some that aren't as decentralized as others,
Right.
meaning that most of the nodes are owned by the team or something like that.
Right.
And I wouldn't get involved with
Okay.
with any of those because they're
I probably misunderstood
they
you,
go
but I
they
get
go
you.
that
I get
goes against like the whole reason. Like Satoshi Nakamoto, I think he was claimed to be the inventor of Bitcoin back in 2008 after the financial crisis when the U.S. government just started printing money to bail out the banks that were too big to fail.
Right.
So to combat against inflation and these too big to fail entities, he wrote code to where there will be no inflation. Right? There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. So in that use case as a store of value is actually a better gold than gold.
So you're saying that there is just a set, it's not a finite number, it's a set number of Bitcoin
That will ever be.
that people will buy and sell. It's never going to be more than that.
It can't. Nope.
Never going to be less than that.
No,
That's
no.
Interesting. I
It
didn't
can
know
be
that
less
part.
than that because what happens is people
It
are
can be less,
irresponsible. One of the main things that I want to talk to you and everybody about is security, right?
All right.
Because if you're Xing out the bank, which is what we want to do, right, in our investments, well, that FDIC insurance that your banks hold, that'll insure up to $250,000 worth of your money. We don't have that. Okay.
Right.
So we have custody over our digital assets. So if you lose it, it's gone, baby. It's lost. So it's up to you to be secure, store all your keys, all your codes, all this stuff. You have to store it, right? So when you lose it, you lose the hard copy, you lose the digital copy, and you don't have this information. It's gone.
And that's how you lose it. Okay.
Right.
I see.
So there's people who have thousands of Bitcoin. I mean, just imagine who have lost it. Like this dude. Oh man.
That can make the value go up too, though, right?
It will. It does. Absolutely. Because
because there's less.
It's gone. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
So your boy had he lost like $300 million worth of Bitcoin. Thousands of Bitcoin. And, it was on a hard drive. And they tore it.
$350 million worth of Bitcoin?
At that time.
At that time. Not 350 million Bitcoin because there aren't that many made. Okay.
Exactly. There will only ever be 21 million. And that number
has gone down.
it won't. Well, they're still mining it, right? So I think it's at 18 have been mined, and they're going to have the amount that can be mined every 4 years.
Mm.
So, and that's going to be until you have it until half, how much can be. So that's a function of making the value increase because of scarcity.
Mm.
Right. So every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that can be mined is cut in half. So that is a function of scarcity that will increase the value.
Now, I do understand that mining, and you may not have looked into it or may not have found the answer yet, or maybe have, but I do know that mining Bitcoin comes from competing with other entities to complete the blockchain. So if we're getting less and less availability to be mined, then at what point will it be worth it to even continue this blockchain? You know, at what point will it be worth it?
Right, that's an excellent question. Like, okay, as the amount that can be mined diminishes, what incentivizes the miners to continue?
Right, it takes so
energy,
much resource and energy just to complete it.
Right, like the energy used to mine Bitcoin, is more than most countries.
Okay, yeah.
Most countries' energy consumption. It's crazy. So, that brings me to another reason why XRP is my favorite.
Okay.
Everything is already pre-mined, and it doesn't use energy like that.
Okay.
It has that already built in. Like,
is it using its own blockchain?
Yes, XRP is on the XRPL, the XRP ledger.
So it's centralized, but only with the company. It's not like a government.
Well, it's centralized.
Entity.
It's centralized in the fact that the majority of the coins are in an escrow that Ripple controls.
I see.
That's it. But the validators are spread out.
All right.
Different countries, continents, people, entities have them. But they do hold most of it, and they're holding it for that purpose, right? So if, like, at one point, it'll be used for that purpose that they have it. And but yeah, like, security is a good point. But I think,
sorry about that. I didn't mean to derail you, but
no.
Yes, please continue on that.
You're good. It was security is the key to me. Like, just understand what you're doing, because I've lost money by sending it.
Gotcha. Not
to the wrong address, but on the wrong network.
Ooh, there's so much to consider.
But it's my fault. I was assuming and just moving fast, and it's my fault. I think it was worth, like, I don't know, $300 at the time. But I imagine a time where that $300 investment, that $300 worth of what I sent, probably worth $5,000 in the future, and I'm not going to cry about it, but
right. And okay, so with with that bit of news, I can see
security
between all of that and the how volatile this is. I can see that first man, was it the first man or the last man who got the one talent, who buried it? I can see him being afraid of losing that.
Yeah.
And burying it and saying, nope, I'm not going to do any kind of cryptocurrency. I don't understand anything about it. Every time I look at it, it's gone up, and then the next hour it shoots back down, and then
as soon as you buy
it.
Well, I would say we got to control our emotions.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Did I want to lose $1,800, $1,200? No, but I understood that that's just a part of it, right?
Right.
So if I got emotional and just took all my stuff out of crypto, I would have not participated in the greatest win that I actually had, right? So
this is when knowing your risk tolerance comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Is keeping your emotions in check.
Yeah.
If you exceed your risk tolerance, then the emotions start to kick in, I guess.
Of course. on for definitely the bad.
Yeah.
So you got to control it on both sides. Like, I have to control my FOMO, the fear of missing out, because I see people winning. Like, I'm like, I want to jump on that wave, and it's already past me, and I just get washed out. And there's times when I invest in something and it drops dramatically right after. I'm just like, okay, but I don't want to sell it now. But your emotions will tell you, oh, you better sell that junk. and it's not wise.
Hold on to it.
Yeah. It'll come back up. Everything is cyclical. It's a cycle. We got seasons, and it's not always going to be winter. So after these major losses, I was on actually not even, they weren't even major losses. It was major to me though, because I could have, that was gas money for months for me. So,
and that's important,
right? So
unless you drive an electric car.
I'm watching a YouTube live, and the guy who I'm watching didn't even say it. It was one of the devs in the chat that mentioned, hey, check out Strong Block. Oh, okay, cool. So I go home, check it out, and like they're selling investments. Okay, cool. Buy in for 10 strong. Strong is $180. I'm like, okay, $1,800. And it's going to pay you 0.1 strong a day. I'm like, okay, so after 100 days, I'll get it back. Okay, cool. So I do it, $1,800. But the thing about that investment was, I think it was paying 0.2 strong a day. So it wouldn't even be 100 days. It would be 50 days. Mm. Oh my gosh, Patrick, the price of strong went from $180 to $1,300 each.
Oh, nice.
Right. And in a matter of 2 months. So I cleaned up on that. And then,
did you sell or did you keep holding on to it?
No, I wanted to buy more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what? Now I'm going to sell it. And there was a lot of people who put their profits back into the project. They got wrecked because they cut the rate. They're like, okay, now we're only going to pay 0.1. And that stretched out the time horizon for your return on investment. And some people were like, still, I'm going to put more into this. And they got wrecked. There was people that were there early that were complaining. I wasn't there early. But I was not, I wasn't complaining. I invested $1,800. I think I 10x my money, and then I found another project. And then that one was fantastic. Anytime you invest $1,600 into a project and you can clear $50,000, but that was just from me paying attention to how I lost before and just Xing that out. Like, okay, the team is anonymous, not doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, this team is doxxed. Oh, their contracts are audited. They're doing live, so there's a lot of communication, and they have their own community. And okay, cool. It's only $1,600. Let's try it. Oh, wow. To the moon. And it was one of the better investments, and that just basically instills the confidence to do that. But just like cryptocurrency and any other investment, you got to look for ways to, first of all, store it. And you want to protect your profits. So I thought that it would be forever, right? So I didn't reinvest as much as I should. But hey, you live and you learn.
You live and you learn. That's right. So we're going to get to the point where we can wrap this up. I know you've got things you need to do. I've got my own honey-do list that I need to get to work on. A couple questions for you. All right.
Let's go.
What we've been talking about is investing for the sake of investing, right? Making the money, maybe putting some back in, maybe not, reading the room, if you will, understanding what to do and when to do it. But I was thinking about 2 Corinthians 12:14.
Yes.
How it commands for us that we ought to be saving up for our children.
It says a good man stores up wealth for his children's children. So our kids and our grandkids. And I think, okay, so this is what I did.
Well, let me ask you
built
this.
a trust.
Okay.
Now, for the trust, my children are the beneficiaries.
Okay.
And one of the assets in the trust is my crypto wallets, right? So I have my wallets.
Okay.
I have my wallets in the trust. So this is how I'm looking out for my kids.
Okay.
So as my assets grow in that, they're the beneficiaries of that. And it's a private express trust under the common law. So I've made it to where the increase that it sees, it doesn't even really have to pay taxes. First of all, it's in cryptocurrency.
Right.
You can't tax.
No taxes on that?
No. Once you realize profits, if you convert the cryptocurrency into FRNs, Federal Reserve notes, Uncle Sam is automatically going to want a piece of it.
All
right. So,
I got you.
But if it stays in cryptocurrency, it's not. They can't. How are they're going to tax you a percentage of the cryptocurrency? Right. They don't take cryptocurrency. So they take they only want a percentage of your cash, whatever you're using. That's their medium of exchange. That's how the IRS works. So they're not going to tax you on gold, silver, or crypto.
Okay. All right. So you've got that set aside for the kids.
That trust that's how I can give it to
that
them
is cool,
and control
man.
it at the same time. So I'm the trustee, right?
Or maybe even a crypto wallet in a safety deposit box somewhere.
I don't trust banks. I don't trust banks. Why would I? Yeah.
Well, wouldn't the safety deposit box be solely in your control?
Okay. What if they lock their doors?
Okay. Well, are they not?
I don't have a key.
Are they not required to say, "Hey, we're about to lock our doors. Come and get your stuff"?
Okay. Do some research on this topic called bank runs.
All right, y'all. Bank runs. Do some research.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm not passing the buck. I'm going to look that up too.
It'll scare you to take your money out of the banks.
Okay. All right. So let's try to avoid the banks. Got it. But adding the cryptocurrencies, crypto wallets to trust.
My addresses, all that stuff. Put it in the trust. I put all my assets in the trust. And my children are the beneficiaries.
All right, so let me move on to the next one. I'm sure you have other ideas, but
absolutely,
we got to get this show going.
I got you.
I won't have you give away all your good stuff now. You can save the good stuff for your YouTube shorts and your videos. But this one here, God's word warns that the love of money is the root of all evil, and that we can't serve both God and money. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10 and Matthew chapter 6 verse 24, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
When your efforts begin to pay off, how do you resist the urge for bigger and better payoffs? How do you resist putting the making of money before God?
That's interesting. Well, I just keep in mind that it's all His. Even if He gives me that talent that I can then take to the money changers and double it, triple it, whatever happens, He's going to come back, and I still got to give it back to Him. Right. I'm just a steward.
Okay.
So if I can be a blessing to those that come, I know I can't take it with me. I'm not confused about that. So, but I know that it's my job to do the best that I can with it for my family and those that come after me. Right. So I just consider myself a steward.
I was going to have us break for a moment, but it looks like they finally turned off that car alarm. That's just going to have to be extra on this episode because that was too much good stuff. I don't want to go back.
I can repeat it.
No.
Okay.
We'll just make that a little, I don't know. They can be a part of the behind the scenes as they listen.
It's an alarm that you should pay attention to as a big chunk of the message.
There you go. That's right. So if you want to come back and you forgot, look for that car alarm sound, and that's where you'll hear all that. That is good, man.
I heard that. And in the word, it says you can't serve God and mammon. And mammon isn't just money or the love of money. It actually at that time was a god. It was a deity that they used to serve. Mm-hmm. And you can't serve both because that's like, you're going to love one and hate the other. There's no way that you can
just
serve
like
God.
The Bible says.
Yeah.
And the Bible also says salt water and sweet water cannot, fresh water cannot flow from the same fountain.
Nope.
You got to choose one. Might as well choose the right one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so what I really wanted to get to, right? Okay. I was watching one of your shorts when it first came out, and I said, all right, more wisdom. Here we go. I fired it up, and you gave your your tremendously impressive spiel that you apparently memorized just from saying it one time, your introduction, and you said, just obey God. Just obey God. And I said, that's a good point. Now he's going to give us some more crypto talk, finance talk. And you didn't.
Nope.
You kept it at just obey God. I was going to ask you, and I'm still going to ask you, what brought that about. But I would also like to point out a scripture that I found, Proverbs 13, verse 22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children.
Mm-hmm.
Or in your case, a good person understands that it's not his money and that it's all God's anyway.
Right.
But a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous.
Come on now. Come on now.
So,
I like that.
What made you make that video?
That's a good question. What was I thinking about? So I pivoted my channel. I was just thinking about financial freedom at one point by way of crypto. And I pivoted the Crypto Advisor channel to include just freedom. It's freedom on every level because there's bondage on every level. So I'm looking at not just financial freedom, but spiritual freedom, but legal freedom and all of it. But that's how you attain that. That's how you achieve that freedom, that liberty, that freedom that we're looking for comes from that obedience. But that goes back to the last question as well, because I don't think I said obey God. I think what I said was serve God. Serve God.
I think you're right. Yes.
Because guess what? You're going to serve something.
Yeah.
You're going to serve something, and it's going to be bigger than yourself. And there's systems in society that's been built to funnel people into serving that. So if you serve God, you can be free from all that other stuff. And it makes all your decisions and everything that you're going to do easier, especially finance, especially the law. Like, who do we obey? Like, just obey God. Just serve God.
Right.
If you serve God, that's going to make the rest of everything easier.
Thank you, Shaun. That's very good stuff. Very enlightening. Thank you. I know you were worried, but you actually did very well. You gave some good information.
How about this? If we can cap it off with this one thing, this is something that I've been contemplating for a while. You said wisdom. I dropped some wisdom, and that was the mission of my year. Like, I'm going to read Proverbs every day this year.
Okay.
Right. For 2024, that's my goal. Right. Since there's 31. I'm just going to start every month off on the first, reading Proverbs. In months where there's 29 or 30 days, it's going to overlap, but I'm reading Proverbs. So the wisdom that's coming from that is just, it's noticeable. Like I can actually, like I can feel it. I'm just thinking differently. And one of the thoughts that I had earlier this week was about duality, right? Like God set up certain laws, like the laws of physics, laws of thermodynamics, gravity, all this stuff for us, right? Sowing and reaping, give and ye shall receive. All these things are set up as parameters for us here. Duality is one of those, right? Now it manifests itself in different ways. Like we know for a fact that there's nothing one-sided on the planet. You look at a piece of paper, you look at a coin, there's nothing that's one-sided. So that means that every action has a equal and opposite reaction. So a lot of stuff that we determine bad has a good side to it. And we say that the gray cloud has a silver lining, right? And I'm just comparing this to something that I heard, right? Like people say, don't pray for patience. Mm-hmm. Right? Have you heard that before?
I live by it.
Don't pray for strength, right? Because you're going to end up having to be strong.
Right.
Don't pray for patience because your life will reflect you having to wait.
Right.
This is what.
Well, let's real quick. The reason why I assume you're of the same mindset. Don't pray for patience based on what you were saying. And the reason
Mm-hmm.
why is because the Bible is very clear that trouble worketh patience.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible is also very clear that in this world we're going to have trouble anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we can be of good cheer because Jesus has overcome the world. So why pray for patience when all it's going to do is bring more trouble so that you can learn to be patient? Why not just learn your patience from the trouble that you're going to have already? Just ask God to help you develop it from
Sounds
the
good.
troubles that's just going to come.
Yeah.
So I just want to let people know we're not against patience.
Right.
We're not. Patience is very important.
It's a
It's
virtue.
a fruit of the Spirit.
Yes.
But so that's just what I wanted to say. I'm sorry if I threw you off.
No.
the train.
That's all
Okay.
good. That's
let me
a
get you
good
back on.
segue, and I appreciate that scripture to back up what was said. So my thing is, though, like in a financial aspect, what I was thinking is that why do we think that when we pray, only patience and strength, these good things that we're praying for, aren't going to have, are going to be the only ones with a situation or circumstance that presents itself in our life that will be negative. I was thinking that maybe when we pray for financial blessings, right? Have you ever seen financial hardship right after that? I think that God puts, first of all, we're made in His image.
Yeah.
And He put that creativity in us. And I've seen in my life, okay.
Financial hardship
I mean,
following
yeah.
a prayer for financial
Right.
financial blessing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but I think that it worketh in us
Right.
what we need, right?
Right.
So I think that He wants us to use that God-likeness that's in us, the creativity to figure out, okay, what is it that I can do to, oh, wow, boom, the financial hardship is taken care of, and now there's an abundance. That's the blessing that comes through. That's that silver lining.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
it was just a concept and a thought that I think I shared on Facebook.
It's definitely interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that strength and patience and this is the only things that I think a lot of times, what if the circumstance and situation that you're in is the answer to your blessing? I mean, the answer to your prayer.
Very true. I'll be honest. I don't really think on those terms. So, yeah. Very true. If you're going through a hard time at the moment, you're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. This is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to get creative. This is my opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
So that
right.
I can actually do something about it when I have the means.
I think the learning is the key, because the learning is what changes who we are and moves the needle towards who Christ is. That's the change that we see when we go through these hardships.
That's tough, though. Oh my goodness, that's so tough.
Yeah.
To just sit through the hardship and say, well, something good is going to come out of it. More often than not, I feel sorry for myself. So.
But when good stuff happens, you don't like. I mean, we are high fiving. Yeah.
I have no problems praising Jesus when good things are happening. But
absolutely not.
I find it hard for me to say, you know what, Lord, I know this is going to be something that's going to work for my good. Thank you.
Right.
Help me to do right by it.
And is this why we're told to rejoice in all things?
This is why.
Right? Because
this is why.
That thing that we determine as negative.
Mm-hmm.
Could be exactly what we need for the breakthrough.
True. Now, we had a conversation about that once before. This is going a little off topic. Yeah. And to be clear, there are still things that are negative despite the outcome.
Absolutely.
And so I just want to clear that up. We're not saying, oh, negative things aren't really negative. We have no idea what our listeners have gone through.
Right.
But we do know that if our listeners are depending on God, God promised to work things out for the good.
All things.
All things for the good. Okay, we've got people coming in, so let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. Thank you. Thank you for doing this with me. It's much appreciated.
No, thank you, man. I'm always down at any time to help out. You already know.
Yes, sir. Well, you're one of the hosts.
Yeah.
And when we get the full range of equipment, the crew will be back together again.
Yes, sir.
in the meantime, we've got this limited number, and this is how we're just going to do it. I might buy another mic here pretty soon and pop it in there and bring on a third person. But one day we'll be able to get back to it. Either way, I am glad you were able to do this with me. Thank you.
Me as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And where can they find you? Social media, YouTube, whatever.
Social media.
Just look for CryptoVisor.
I wouldn't say that. There's a channel that is called The CryptoVisor.
On YouTube?
On YouTube, and mine is very small. I want to try to get the name without the numbers following it, but it's CryptoVisor. I'm the guy with the visor. Like, if you look for me in shorts, you might be able to find me. I'm looking for some subscribers, and that way I can go live and answer questions of people who are interested and know. Because I remember when I didn't know anything, but I don't remember what I was looking for, like the information that I needed, because I have that information now. I don't know the order, so I'm writing a book, and I'll be back, and when I'm back, I'll give you guys more information. But yeah, CryptoVisor, your brother, cousin, uncle, son, nephew, father, friend, back at it once again.
All right, and remember, everybody, a couple of things you want to look for when looking into cryptocurrencies is
use case.
Use case, yes. What was the other thing? Oh man,
Regulatory clarity.
Regulatory clarity and transparency of the company. That's the other thing that you talked about.
When you wanna dive into the DeFi space, most people are gonna try to jack you. But if you look into projects that have fully doxed teams, right? If they're transparent,
fully transparent, fully known, yeah,
right. And then their contracts, their smart contracts have been audited by a reputable contract auditor like Hayes or stuff like that. Then that'll help you to have an understanding that they're not trying to steal from you. That's not going to guarantee your win because projects fail. Like it doesn't have to be a bogus smart contract to fail. But yeah, there's a lot of different stuff that I'm working on, and I will be sharing it with you guys shortly.
Thank you very much, Shaun. And for those of you who are Christian, remember, it is, I believe, God's purpose that we use our increase to help others. I don't believe it, well, at least our pastor has taught this. I don't believe it's the government's responsibility to look out for our communities. It's the church's responsibility.
Yes.
That's it for us today. I appreciate you all taking the time out to join us.
One thing.
We've got one more thing.
My bad. Let's go back.
Okay.
I like what somebody said. I don't remember exactly who it is, but it says, the problem is people are loving the money and using the people. What we do, or what we should do, is use the money and love the people. And the best case scenario is to use the money to love the people.
Okay.
And I think that was Myron Golden, but I just wanted to say that. I think that's fantastic.
Well, it's a good note to end on. Thank you, sir. This has been Forward Path. Have a great day, and God bless you all.